Welcome to Sports Scope, the most influential sports talk show in the nation. Stay tuned for updates and great sports content.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Real Sports Scope. I'm your host, Robert Butler. On this 20th day of September, got a great weekend for college football in the NFL, mainly the NFL. The Mad New Yorker will not be with me tonight. I'm going to be solo. He's at the Mets game. Said he's with heavy hitters. I don't know if that's some kind of job outing or whatever. But the Mets are, they're in real competition to get that wild card, getting down to the nitty gritty there. So either way, he's going to be there. You'll have me tonight. Going to go over this week's biggest games in the NFL. Big win for the Jets. Impressive win, even though it was over the Patriots there. Talk a little bit about that and more. Stand by. We'll take our first and only breaks here. We'll be back here just after a few quick announcements here on the Real Sports Scope. Hello, Sports Scope followers. The program has seen tremendous growth since going 5 days a week. I just wanted to thank everybody for your cash contributions and sharing the program with friends and families. Just a reminder, if you want to contribute to the program, go to the Cash App, the cash sign, and Sports Scope. There are other ways to contribute to the program listed at the bottom of the screen. If you want to advertise on the program, go to sports, that is sports with an S, another S, scope, SKOPE, at gmail.com, just like it's listed at the bottom of the screen. Thank you and enjoy the program.
I'm Mac, CEO of National Streaming Sports and host of the Mac and Jack Sports Show. You're watching the sharp-dressed man and the big story breaker, Robert Butler, on Sports Scope, Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Eastern on National Streaming Sports. Thanks. To get the National Streaming Sports channel on your Roku TV, channel search National Streaming Sports. There's the channel search in Roku. There's our logo right on the right, NESSP. Tap on the logo and it will add to your TV, the channel to your TV. On your laptop, tablet, and mobile phone, download the free Roku app and channel search just like above. If you don't have Roku TV, you have to order a Roku device from the Roku store, hook it up to your smart TV, and bang, you have Roku TV. Again, channel search, National Streaming Sports. Click on our NESSP logo and add the channel. National Streaming Sports is brought to you in part by BetUs.com, designed for true fans. NFL odds, Week 1 and futures, college football odds, including Heisman Trophy favorites and playoff odds, NBA odds of division winners and playoffs, Major League Baseball playoff and World Series odds, the National Hockey League Conference playoffs and Stanley Cup odds, and boxing wagers. Betting opportunities include versus the spreads and outright winners, also during the game. Use our link on our website, nessp.info, the Bet Us Opportunities webpage, for a 125% bonus on your first 3 deposits. Must be 21 years old, and remember, bet responsibly.
All righty then, that's all of our announcements here. No more of that for now. I thank Mac for the good shout out and propping me up on National Streaming Sports. Check that out. Check out Bet Us and whatnot. And anywho, like I said before the break, the Mad New Yorker is not going to be here today, but he did text me his picks. He texted me all kinds of picks, but just the ones that I submitted to him as I see as the biggest games in college football and NFL. I know college has Michigan and USC. I just think Michigan's way overrated. I'm not considering that a big game. That is just big names. Michigan, putting in a different quarterback and whatnot. I think USC is going to win that game pretty decisively this week. I just think that Tennessee-Oklahoma is the biggest game. Two ranked opponents. We'll talk about that here in a little bit. But anyway, about last night, I think that was the name of a movie at some point. It's like some kind of romantic comedy. The Jets, big win for the Jets. Like I said yesterday on the program, the Jets have played 3 games in 10 days, cross-country trip there to San Francisco, playing Tennessee on a short week, big win at Tennessee on the short week, and then another short week from that, playing on Thursday. They get their home opener against the Patriots, who've been playing good football for their expectations. They took Seattle to overtime, and of course they upset Cincinnati in week 1. But now it's starting to look like Jacoby Brissett is looking like Jacoby Brissett, And, very good pass rush by the Jets, considering the fact they didn't have Jermaine Johnson. Plus, they did not have, of course, we all know about the Hassan Reddick issue there, but they still managed to get pressure on Brissett. That's the Jacoby Brissett that I know. Guys that are backup quarterbacks, that are always backup quarterbacks, like your Ryan Fitzpatrick's or Jacoby Brissett's, they look good for a short period of time. Okay? Teddy Bridgewater. And then they start to unravel. And some players, it's 3 or 4 or 5 games, 6 games. Other players, it's 2 games. That obviously, Jacoby Brissett, now we're starting to hear questions about Drake May. Is he ready and whatnot? Kind of as I expected. That's looking like the Patriot team that I thought that we would see coming into the season. But I still didn't. I know they've had some injuries on their line, but it wasn't that bad. I mean, 27. I thought this would go over. I did think the Jets would win and cover that spread. But, did not see a 24. Was it 24-3 shellacking right there? I got this stat here from the 33rd team X-Out site here. The Jets have the 5th best pressure rate in the league since Robert Saleh became head coach, 35.4%. The Jets are also tied the Dolphins and the Steelers for the most 7-sack-plus games since 2021. Very good, impressive win there by the New York Jets there. Did not expect that. Again, 5 sacks, Pickles, on Jacoby Brissett last night. Really, really good outing there by the defense. On a short week, you couldn't really ask for a better performance there by that Jet team, in my opinion. I mean, Rodgers, by the way, going back to him, clean pocket all night. They did get to him twice, but 118 QBR 81.8, quarterback rating 118.9, 2 touchdowns, no interception. Very good play there from the man in green, as opposed to a Jacoby Brissett, 5 sacks, a 24.4 quarterback rating, and then a QBR rating, and of course the quarterback actual rating 80.3. Real impressive there, real impressive, and also, so they've got this extra long weekend. Only bad news for the Jets to report. Of course, some of you may have heard this. Morgan Moses, their right tackle, is going to be out probably for a few weeks. But this is why they drafted the extra depth. This is why I said they should draft the extra depth there and eventually slide in left tackle and Olo Fashanu, left tackle out of, but also can play right, out of Penn State. Very good pass blocker. So I'm sure they're going to slide him in next week. They got the Denver Broncos next week, which tells me that this team, Broncos, having a young quarterback here, going on the road here at the, what is it called? The Meadowlands, I guess. They can go on a little bit of a run. They can go on a little bit of a run here and start to establish an identity. They're going to need some help at that pass rushing spot. I don't know what they're going to do there with Hassan Reddick. I do know that at some point they're probably going to have to make a move, maybe with a Tennessee or somebody like that, somebody that's not going very well, that's got some depth there at edge rusher. By that trade deadline that's been moved up to November, maybe go after a Harold Landry or Arden Key, possibly Tennessee get that third-round pick that they gave up last year to get L'Jarius Sneed there at the cornerback position, something like that nature. Again, in the preseason, I did say that the Jets would get that last wild card in the AFC, just judging by their schedule and how that line's been built up. Now, of course, if the line continues to get injured, and of course, if Rodgers gets injured, all bets are off. But we'll see. A lot of talk about it. And of course, I noticed it too. I saw it on the internet. Looked like an exchange there of Robert Saleh and Aaron Rodgers giving each other hard looks there as if they had some kind of disagreement or something. That was explained. Rodgers, that's some kind of bro, like, hey, man, this is what they were pumped up. That was after a touchdown. Saleh was a tight end, played college football. He still has tendencies of a player, lets his emotions get involved, kind of like a Dan Campbell over there with Detroit. After reading that, it is much ado about nothing. I don't think that there was no real animosity there between him and Rodgers. Rodgers said, I was just saying two. We can't celebrate on one touchdown league. We need a two. And, of course, obviously they won 24-3. They got the three touchdown league. So that being said, we'll see. I mean, they still have some injuries there on the defensive side, and you hope that Morgan Moses comes back in 2 or 3 weeks and you keep that depth, because you don't know how long that Smith is going to hold up there at left tackle. The player, Tyrone Smith, who they obviously got from Dallas, 33 years old, great when he's there. But we just don't know how long he can hold up at his age. That's why Dallas let him go, because of his injury history. The shove on the Fox Sports, that was like, hey, man, yeah, we're good. We need one more time. That's like that bro type. You see players do that amongst themselves. I wouldn't do that to a coach, but that's not my forte. Maybe there is some type of, that type of relationship with him and Saleh. Maybe that's their way of warming up to each other, because there has been some rumors that it was a frosty relationship in the past. And Rodgers has a tendency to be somewhat passive-aggressive and standoffish at times, going back to his Green Bay days. So that's not really any type of news here. Big Pickle says, Rodgers gives guys over 40 hope. Listen, I mean, that's why you had to get that depth at that offensive line. We saw when Peyton Manning had some time, although he did look like the 10-man out there in 2015 at the end of his career, coming off those neck surgeries. They did win a Super Bowl that year, folks. They did beat a very good Panther team, contrary of what people think about the way Cam Newton acted in that game, the way he played in that game, not going after that fumble and whatnot. That was a very good team, and they were favored, I want to say, by a touchdown in that game. A lot of us thought maybe that would be a blowout. That wasn't the case. Peyton comes through. Brady was over 40. Guys like that, you have to give extra protection. I mean, you have to really, really go into the offensive line. And, of course, Rodgers, pretty strong arm still. He's really came back from that. He made some runs there. That Achilles did not take him down a notch as I thought it would. Now, of course, as the season goes along, we shall see. He is playing up there in, East Rutherford can get a little windy there sometimes as the weather changes. So it's good to get this game out early, and maybe play Miami late and possibly get a couple easy W's there. But it's, again, with the pass rush, the lack of depth there, let's see what happens if they're going to be buyers, if this holds up, and it looks like it could, at the NFL trade deadline and possibly build on something from that. So it was a good win. It wasn't a great win because I think the Patriots are going to be bad. I think the Patriots are still going to fall farther into a bliss and be what I thought they were. And we let them off the hook, right? Okay, so that was last night's game. Before I get into the games, I just want to say, Caitlin Clark, I did not think I was going to go talk about women's college basketball, but I will say this. From a player who went to a team just shortly after she had just finished her college career. Remember back in June, they got off to a really bad start. Just loss after loss after loss. And they end up, we look at it, the fact that they were playing some of the better teams in the league. Looked like that this was going to be a long uphill climb for her. Starts to get a little bit of tread. Then the news comes out she's not making the Olympic team. She looks as a blessing in disguise, needs the rest. I said the same thing, needs the rest. I'm paraphrasing her, but that's my phrase, blessing in disguise. So they go to the Olympics, and, of course, she comes back like a house of fire, and they're playing in the playoffs against the Connecticut Sun, game 1 on Sunday. Now, of course, I'm going to be watching NFL at that time, but I think she is just a fantastic story in sports. Their ratings have topped NBA finals and whatnot, and Major League Baseball. And it's right up there with college football. It's unbelievable. But check out, I read this from FanDuel, put out about Caitlin Clark's rookie season. Rookie scoring record, single season assist record. This is a rookie, right? About 90. This is a rookie woman here. She got the single season assist record, rookie assist record, single game assist record, first ever rookie with a triple double, rookie 3-point record, single season DBL. I think that's double record for guards. Fastest player to 500 points and 200 assists. Single season record for 2010 games, points and assists. First rookie with 400 points, 100 rebounds, and 150 assists. Are you kidding me? First rookie with 400 points, 100 rebounds, 150 assists. I thought Candace Parker had to have that, right? Signed an 8-figure deal with Nike, led Fever to first playoffs in 8 years. I mean, she's a great story. She may be the athlete of the year, per se. I mean, if not less, Mahomes wins another Super Bowl. But wow, what a story, man. I just had to throw that in there in the middle of the program, Now back to your regular scheduled NFL talking program. She's something else, though, man. Caitlin Clark, driving the rating. Yeah, I mean, it's actually worth watching now. I'm sitting there thinking I'm looking forward to next season already because nobody else is going to take advantage of the summertime. You got the Big Three, my guy Ice Cube, Big Three League. I've been following that since 2017. Started the first year Sports Go started, and they've been going strong. I love the Big Three. Got some great players. Kudos to Gary Payton's team there, winning the championship. Big Y or something like it. It's got a weird name of the team. I don't know what that means. But anyways, so yeah, I'll be watching a little WNBA there in the whatchamacallit there. Okay. In the summertime, which is the NFL off season, right? Okay. Now I said something yesterday. If you missed the program, I mentioned the fact that Dan Campbell, head coach there of the Detroit Lions, is moving out of his house. More has came out about because of the fans. Somehow his maybe, I guess, somebody looked up on state records and found it through tax records that are public record of him moving out, and because of fan harassment, essentially. They've had some pretty crazy moves here. Him not going for the field goal last year, it's cost them a shot to go to the Super Bowl. That you could make that argument. He cost them the going for it for two, backed up in the Dallas game. That's a controversial call. And of course, he's bad clock management this past Sunday at the end of the half. That could have made it a 1-point game in the second half in the Tampa game. So he's another guy. He's a former player, gets a little too emotional. But ESPN actually wrote a story, and it looks like it was more to it than I was first led on to believe, according to reports. This is from Adam Schefter at ESPN. But Fox 2 in Detroit reported that Campbell's home address was leaked to the public, and that he had his family become the victims of pranks, harassment. After Lions losses, including the NFC Championship game, Campbell finally has filed police reports. The Bloomfield Township Police Department released a statement saying, in part, it is committed to the safety of all residents, yada, 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 of any kind of will not be tolerated. We hope that everyone, including the fans, will respect the privacy of individuals. On Friday, Campbell once again declined to discuss his decision to sell his house, but said it wasn't meant with any negativity towards the fans. Campbell again declined to comment his decision to sell the house, but it said it was, he said, I love the fans. They are believable, he said. There's nowhere I want to be, but of any other team I want to be to coach for. It's rare to have this environment like we have to be able to coach here, play here. And I tell our guys all the time, this is a rare spot. You better enjoy it because every place has it like we have it. Not every place. Campbell and his wife listed their 7,800 square foot. That's a little big, but it's not Michael Jordan's 56,000, right? For $4.5 million, deal pending within 24 hours. So Campbell, he's hired back in 21. Of course, they were 3-13, and now they're one of the NFL's best teams in the league. So it was a little bit worse than what we originally thought with the whole police report thing and whatnot. But I mean, the guy's selling his house because and it's the social media people. I don't know how he can get out of it. Maybe he puts his house in somebody else's name, so it doesn't become public record. Maybe in his wife's maiden name. I don't know how they're going to do it where the new house that they moved to doesn't get leaked there, where someone can simply look up the tax records. And of course, the fans are whack jobs anyways. I mean, fans short for fanatic, and there's no excuse for that. I mentioned it to a friend at work, and she's like, what? Her dad's up in the Michigan area. I said, is your dad up there harassing Dan Campbell? And she said, no. He's a big football fan, like we are, Pickles. And me and her have a lot of fun back and forth there talking about the rise of, and I've had Jeremy Ballrick on here. And, of course, Freddie the Pizza Man, both Detroit natives. Scott Morgenroth is from Detroit as well. I'm happy as I'll be out for this Lions and what Brad Holmes has built. I've been high on these guys for 2 years. I picked them last year to win the NFC North, in which they did. And this year I'm picking them to get to the Super Bowl. They got to get back to the fundamentals and basics, and I think they will. Needs federal laws with teeth. Yeah, the social media stuff is just ridiculous, man. It's just not worth it. It's a game. And you, if you've lost that much money, you shouldn't have been gambling from the get-go. But as far as the game is considered, they do got a pretty good game. I wasn't going to put this game on the list when I first sent this stuff over to Carlos. But the truth of the matter is this is a pretty big game here coming up this week. Again, they come off that tough loss to Tampa. I mentioned the clock management issues, but they are favorites this week going on the road at Arizona. Arizona, by the way, they're second in offense, only to the Saints, who are just unbelievable. They got, the first two games, they scored over 40 points in both games, blowing up Dallas last week. But Arizona, remember, they blew out the Rams last week, and they put 31 on Buffalo up there in Buffalo last week. So Arizona's offense is humming. Second points, like I mentioned. That being said, they're giving up a lot of points too. And Detroit, this is going to be played in Phoenix. Detroit will get that running game going in Phoenix. They will get that running game going. It's going to be a lot more Jahmyr Gibbs. Going to be a fun game. And Detroit will have some fans there. Michigan's got people. Nobody really wants to live. I mean, no offense to my friends in Michigan. A lot of people want to get out of Michigan. It's really cold up there, I'm sure there's Detroit fans in Phoenix, people from the great upper Midwest there. So I think Phoenix will have some fans there in the stands. I do like Detroit to get back on the ground here. It's not going to be easy. 27-23. I like Arizona. To get the win here, or Detroit, excuse me. I like Detroit to get the win here. There's not going to be this 55 pass attempts by Jared Goff. I don't believe that's going to be the case. I believe they're going to lean on that running game. Jahmyr Gibbs, David Montgomery. And by the way, I mentioned this last week. You got to get Sam Laporta the ball. They win games when he touches the ball. And stop forcing the ball. Ben Johnson, offensive coordinator for Detroit, stop forcing the ball to Jameis Williams. We know he's good. We get it. Alamon St. Brown got banged up, but he came back. Get that ball to Laporta across the middle. Not the best linebacking core in the world in Arizona, and play your game. And Jared Goff, by the way, the guy played for years for the Rams. He's going to be very comfortable in this environment. Lean on that line up front and go out there and get the win at Arizona. And Goff has to get in gear. He didn't have a touchdown pass last week. He's got to do it, but you got to run to set up the pass. You got arguably the best line in football according to Pro Football Focus. Now go out there and live up to it, which they will. Yeah, 27-23. They will win this game. What did Carlos say? I wonder if he sent me this score here. Sent me 1,000 college scores, which I didn't even ask him for. But what did he put here? Let's see. He's picking 27-21. Arizona getting the home team, getting the win. So me and him disagree there. Okay. Another big game, not in any particular order I want to talk about now. Steelers, Steeltown. This is their home opener. Here. They started off going to Atlanta, then they had to go over to Denver. Okay. And as we mentioned before here, the LA Chargers I want to say they got the home win. Over the Raiders. Turned out Raiders are pretty decent. That's a pretty impressive win. And then they went on the road, beat up on Carolina. But here's the bad news. Justin Herbert played through an ankle injury Sunday and finished the game. But now there is no practice this Friday from Justin Herbert. And now it's been diagnosed as a high ankle sprain for Justin Herbert. That is not good. Points allowed, I want to say they're the best defense in the league. Now, of course, they haven't played the greatest offenses in the world, but the Chargers have played really well. We know about that Pittsburgh wicked pass rush. So it's a chance they may be playing Easton Stick here. I don't even know if Herbert's going to play. You know what I'm saying, Pickles? So, they said he didn't practice Friday. I don't know if he can play through it. And quite frankly, with TJ Watt out there, do you want to risk that? If these two teams play again, I'm not sure if I want to if I want to risk that. And now it's as yet to describe. I wouldn't play. I want to say it's Easton Stick. Let me make sure. Let me make sure I got that correct here. But I want to say it really is him. And listen, I do like. I like Jim Harbaugh more than I like Mike Tomlin as a coach, even though Mike Tomlin's, it is Easton Stick. I want to make sure. But you put that hyped up Steelers team against a guy like this, and you know how Steelers are against the run. I think the Steelers are probably going to win this, Pickle says it's a 3 to 4 weeks deal there, Pickle says, I would play on one ankle against Watt. It's just no way, There's no way I'm doing that. You don't want to have him to get some kind of Achilles injury, something crazy like that, can run their season here. Go ahead and play Stick, play the field position. They're not going to have a great offense. I mean, what did they score 30 points in 2 games? I mean, they're hard to watch. But that being said, folks, I do think that the Steelers, I'd rather be lucky than good. It's going to be a god-awful, but the over and under this game is 34.5. So I think the Steelers are probably going to win 16-10, and people are going to be hyped up on the Steelers. Maybe I'll get Ralph Williams to come on for a few minutes next week and talk about them. It's going to be a good game. I just wish that wasn't the case with Justin Herbert. If Herbert's healthy, if it's a low ankle sprain and he was limited all week and he had a full practice on Friday, I would easily pick this Chargers here. If they play again, even in Pittsburgh, if Herbert's healthy, I'm going to take Herbert over Justin Fields. Steelers they've been lucky all year, man. And they're going to they're a Bush League team at times. They've had some Bush League games. I know they've some cheap shots against Cleveland last year in their opener on that Monday night game where Nick Chubb got hurt. So anyways, that's who I like there. Moving right along. Let's see, where should I go? Let's go down here to Nashville. Okay. Let's go down here to Nashville. It's another thing, by the way. Limited practice pretty much all week. Jordan Love, sprain, MCL. Love got hurt the Friday night of the very first game of the season. So I'm not of course, they used Malik Willis last week, and I was for sure that the Colts will go up there and beat them decisively. That was one of the worst, absolute worst misses for me. I didn't even talk about it this week. I thought it was going to be a lock. The Colts defense has got a lot of holes in it, and now they had some injuries. So really good coaching job there last week by Matt LaFleur with the Green Bay Packers. Now, Love's going to be like a game-time decision as well. If he plays, he's not even close to 100%. There is no way I would risk Jordan Love getting hurt this year. Tennessee has the best yardage defense out there. I mean, yards per play, yards. Tennessee is flying around like nobody's business. There's no way I would take that chance here if I'm Green Bay and put Love out there. LaFleur's pretty savvy, but there's only so much Malik Willis can do. Tennessee knows every single weakness of Malik Willis. And actually, folks, Tennessee's actually favored in this particular game by 2.5 points. Part of me would like to see this game go in the other direction, because I just don't like, I'm really not caring for Will Levis, and maybe put Rudolph in there, because this defense is good, it's legit, and whatever happens, and just build up some draft capital and go after one of these quarterbacks in the 24 or 25 draft. But that's not going to be the case. I'm picking Tennessee actually to beat Green Bay 24-17. What do you think there, Pickles? What do you think there? Love has been off 14 days. He may be ready to roll. Yeah, it was on a Friday night. He is very young. It is on a Friday night. He's a pretty young guy. I've been told or read it's a 3 to 6 week injury, but it depends on the person. This would be 2 weeks. I think Tennessee wins. Pickles says he thinks that the Packers will win. If the Packers win, you definitely got to take out Levis. It's probably because Will Levis has done something stupid, another turnover, or something like that of that nature. But it is here in Nashville. I think Tennessee will probably get their running game going. And Green Bay stole one last week. I don't think they'll steal one this week. But we'll see. We shall see. 28-21 is what Carlos says, the Mad New Yorker. He says Tennessee will win this game as well. I'm split. I told my friend who's a big Green Bay fan at work, I said I could really hope Green Bay actually wins this game. Can kind of help Tennessee build the anti-Levis momentum. Maybe Levis, the light bulb goes off and he plays well, but I just don't have any faith in the guy. It is what it is, folks. Again, like I said before, not to be hyperbolic about anything, but the truth of the matter is this is a very good week of NFL football. As the great games just keep coming along. Eagles and the Saints, I had the Philly sports guy on here about 2 years. I've got to get this guy back on. I may try to get Jamie back on next week sometime. He's got some funny short videos here. His popularity is growing. I picked up a woman in Uber the other day from Pennsylvania, and she said she's a big Eagles fan and been to quite a few games there in Philadelphia. And she was telling me, she's like, "Oh, I see that guy on all the promos." She knew exactly who Jamie was. I said, "Yeah, it's a guy who paints his face." So I said, "Jamie, who do you have problems with?" He says, "It's really hard to go down and get a win down in New Orleans. We've always had problems down there. And I couldn't find the last time they won down in New Orleans. I want to say it's 2007. And they haven't won in, maybe that was a playoff game. But the Eagles just do not match up well with this team. The last time they played, of course, Saints won about a year or so ago. Plus, on top of all that, I mean, A.J. Brown is not going to play. That really takes the offense down a notch there for Philadelphia. And listen, folks, it's early, but still, Vic Fangio's defense has not lived up to it. Green Bay moved the ball up and down the field. They gave up that 2-minute drive there to Kirk Cousins there at home. Now they go on the road on a short week. This Saints team's going to be humming. The over and under, Vegas likes this to be a fairly high-scoring game. 49.5 is what Vegas is saying. The Eagles started off as a favorite, but once that injury started rolling in and the news about A.J. Brown, I tell you, I honestly, I may be wrong here, but the way that Vic Fangio, lack thereof at defense, and as hot as this Saints team is, I actually think the Eagles are going to run into a buzzsaw, 38-24. I think the Saints are going to beat them and be 3-0 and continue their shocker of the season. But that's just me. Remember, they got this Clint Kubiak. They've got this new coordinator here. Pickles thinks they're complicated to pick. Sirianni's on the hot seat. Pickles says Saints won 20-14. I picked that game. And that was just a few years ago. I think it's a buzzsaw game. I think it's 38-24. I think Fangio, maybe his defense is too complicated. I don't know. They've got a lot of young cornerbacks. No, Bradbury's not going to be there. Slay's got some age on him. The rest of the guys are very young, rookie-level cornerbacks. They're going to be running around, bumping into each other and whatnot. Their linebacker core is not that good. And man, the Saints are hitting you 40 ways from Sunday. They're hitting teams at different angles. If you watch them play-by-play like I do on the red zone here, I could be way off here, but the short week on the road, no A.J. Brown. Pickles are saying that they show up and play great, and Saints only win by 1 point. I'm saying Saints 28-24, 38-24. The Saints roll big, and they really keep that. This is kind of going to be like the Tampa game against the Eagles last year, and where in the playoffs where the Eagles were just way off. Maybe, listen, I picked the Eagles to win the East. I don't want this to be true, but I'm just calling balls and strike. This is not a good time without A.J. Brown going on the road, short week, against a red-hot team who people haven't got a chance to really figure out with this new offensive coordinator. So, but we'll see. We'll see. I mean, I know they got the talent to overcome it. Let's see. The Mad New Yorker says 27-21. He's also got the Saints winning this game. Pickle says it's going to be a tight one, though, 27-26. So knock the Eagles down to 1-2, but that leads me to the next game. No fear here. Never fear. Underdog is here. And listen, the NFC East is going to have the NFC East. There's not going to be nobody's run off with it yet. I mean, Washington's 1-1. The Giants are 0-2. Dallas is 1-1, and Dallas has got to play an 0-2 team that is hungry like nobody's business in Baltimore. Pickle says the Eagles defense folds late in fourth quarter. Okay, maybe so, but maybe they fold early this time. Baltimore had the lead most of that game, okay, against the Raiders. They held the Raiders to 27 yards rushing. 27 yards rushing. Can you believe that? When you hold a team that low to rushing, that means you're making them one-dimensional. You're making the quarterback throw 38 times is what he did do. And, of course, he hit big game there out of Gardner Minshew to, obviously, Devontae Adams. Over 100 yards. I had 8 catches and a touchdown there. You have to throw every other down to beat Baltimore. You have to scheme them across the middle. You got to throw short. You got to throw fast. You got to do slip screens. You got to run some to keep them honest the way the Chiefs do. They're still good up front. And, man, is this team hungry. Woo! I just can't. Can you imagine Baltimore going 0-3? They are a 1.5-point favorite. This game is played down in Dallas. Okay, it is played down in Dallas. And listen, it's an NFC team. Lamar Jackson. I know this line is not good. This is maybe his worst line. With the right game plan, yes, Dallas could win. Don't get me wrong, Dallas could win. Because of your Micah Parsons of the world and Lawrence and whatnot. But Lamar Jackson is 20-1 against the NFC. Yes, you heard that right. He's 20-1 against the NFC. Plus, listen, Dak Prescott is 28-6 when he throws under 30 times. However, when he throws over 30 times, he's 38-33. That's pretty close to 500 there for Dak Prescott. I mean, if you're Mike McCarthy and you're setting up a game plan, I'm spreading out Baltimore 4 wide. I'm using Brandon Cooks. Was it Ferguson's out too? Their tight end is out. Maybe they're going to use Shoemaker again. But I'm using guys like Brandon Cooks, obviously CeeDee Lamb. Who's that other guy? Deron Bland or whatever. You got even that little running back. They got Deuce Vaughn. You're going to have to throw screen passes inside, wide receiver screens, running back screens, quick cuts across the middle, but not into the teeth of a Roquan Smith. And you're going to have to throw often and play field position with this team. In other words, you got to get a script out of what Kansas City has done to Baltimore. And the problem is Dak is just not Mahomes. Dak, that play where Mahomes pickles, Baltimore overran the play. Mahomes is backing up like 10 yards back. And he wiggles out and he leans forward and throws the ball, hits Xavier Worthy for the touchdown. Dak's not going to do that. He's going to go 10 yards back, and he's going to try to make that move, and he's going to get plowed. And it's going to either be an interception or an incomplete pass. So that's how I see that playing out, And like the fact I said, Lamar Jackson being 20-1, this team is simply not going to go 0-3. Although this game is at Dallas, and the odds makers, they're people in Vegas, 1.5 point favorite there. All that being said, yeah, Dallas is going to show up. They got blown out against New Orleans last week. They're going to be really tough. This is going to be a tight game. This will be a fun game. Not a high-scoring game. I think it's I'm thinking 26-19 and maybe 23-19. Baltimore's going to get the win. Pickle says it's going to be 33 Ravens, 22 Cowboys. Let's see what Carlos is usually. Carlos may pick Dallas because I know he's a contrarian. Carlos sent me the text. No, Carlos, he's wise too here. Carlos says Ravens beat the Cowboys 21-14. Pickle says Saints ran wild. The Ravens, I forgot about Derrick Henry there. They're going to find some gaps in that Cowboy defense, and I do think Lamar will have a better game. I think he'll run better. I think what they'll try to do is get Michael Parsons out of position and run around him and do some slip screen. Justice Hill could have a pretty good game. He can get past that defense there. That's that really quick running back. They like to screen the ball to him a lot there. And, of course, probably Derrick Henry across the middle there off the best blocking guard for Baltimore and get that touchdown as well. I agree with that. Okay. Moving right along. Let's see what else have we not covered here. Oh, man, another great – I'm telling you, folks, I've got that event to do, Pickles, but I'm going to be done. I got an event to do for the Titans game here in Nashville. Had to drive around, and this company's paying me to see their logo on my car and stuff. But it's just for an hour and a half. It's an hour before the game and 30 minutes after the game kicks off. And I'm back here watching Red Zone, folks. I'm going to be, because listen, Houston's going to be playing Minnesota. All right. Two red hot teams, especially Minnesota. Great defense there. The problem with Minnesota is the injuries are starting to mount up. Okay. Good news for Vikings fans. Justin Jefferson went out of the game in the third quarter last Sunday and that big win over the 49ers, but he's not going to be on the injury report. He was a full practice today. He's going to practice. He's going to play Sunday, Justin Jefferson. Now, Jordan Addison's still not going to play. T.J. Hawkinson's still the tight end there. He still hasn't came back from IR. But now the news is on the defense takes another big hit. Their first-round pick there, Dallas Turner, will not play. Dallas Turner will not play for Minnesota. And Texans, the only really injury for the Texans is Joe Mixon's doubtful, and Dameon Pierce, their other running back, he's out. So the Texans are going to be with former LA Ram Cam Akers on Sunday. He'll be with Cam Akers. Minnesota, very tough physical game against the 49ers. I know the Texans have had two pretty tight games, too, having to play at the Colts there, very close 2-point game. And then, of course, they went home and beat the Bears, who very physical, beat them by 6 on Sunday Night Football. This game will be played in Minnesota. This will be played in Minnesota. But are you going to take Stroud or are you going to take Sam Darnold? Two very good, clever offenses there. I'm going to take C.J. Stroud, but I do think this is still going to be a good, tight game. Love me some O'Connell, the head coach there, Minnesota. I know he's going to have a good game plan in there for Darnold as well with what he's got to work with. And you know Brian Flores is going to work with what he has there on defense. But I still think Texans find a way to pull this off. 26-20. 26-20, Pickles. 26-20. I like Houston to get the to get the win. Pickles says he thinks Minnesota, who's very tough at home, will win 24-22. And you hear that horn, that Viking horn there. Ooh, my friend Cal. If I can find that guy again, I can't find him on Facebook, and he's changed his number. But Delger, man, that guy from Minnesota, huge Vikings fan. I'd love to bring him on if Minnesota did that. He says, Pickle says the Vikings get the upset win there and go 3-0, which put them in, keep them in first place there in the NFC North. Who would have thought? Who would have thought that? Let's see what Carlos has for Minnesota, and Carlos has 27-24. Minnesota will beat the Texans, and Texans get their first loss. Texans been playing some close games. That could very well happen. I'm looking at Darius Turner, and I'm just looking at the quarterback play. I know Houston realizes they're playing a tough team. They're not going to go up there half-stepping. I like Houston, Pickles, and of course, actually, Carlos likes Minnesota as well. Very interesting. Okay. Now, Jacksonville's 0-2. And as I said on Monday or earlier this week, I can't remember, Jacksonville lost their best corner the week before last. And as I said on Monday, Jason McIntyre mentioned that their coordinator, this new coordinator they've got down there, he likes to play a lot of man coverage, and they're just not getting pressure like they should on the quarterback. They went against Cleveland with all those injuries in Cleveland, and Deshaun Watson still had the ability to get away and make plays up the field. And, of course, Cleveland won. Now they're 0-2, okay? Now, I will say this. This is a game of matchups, okay? They do have to go on the road and play a rested, looks to be a really good Buffalo team who has their own injury problems on defense. They have their own injury problems on defense, but this is a wounded animal in Jacksonville. And I do want to make it clear that Jacksonville has beat Trevor Lawrence has beat Josh Allen twice. They beat him in London last year, okay? I didn't like that Bills team, but I knew that Jacksonville has always played well in London, okay? They've always played well in London. And the year before that, they went down there. They beat the Bills like 9-6. They found a way to get pressure on Josh Allen, but this offensive line is playing its absolute best under Allen this year. Jacksonville or the Bills are well aware of what they're going to be dealing with. A wounded animal is bound and determined not to go 1-3. I know the spread has went up from anywhere from 4.5 to 5.5 in favor of the Bills. I wouldn't touch that spread with a 10-foot pole. Maybe I take Jacksonville plus 5.5 if it goes to that. But I think that the Bills are going to find a way to hang on and win 27-24. This is a Monday night game there, folks. This is a Monday night game. Pickle says Bills win 27-20. I say Bills 27-24. Carlos he hates the Bills for some reason. I don't know if somebody maybe picked on him as a kid that was a Bills fan or whatnot, or maybe one of the Bills players didn't sign an autograph. But I want to say Carlos has the Jags get the first win, and they end up winning. They end up winning, but he didn't give me a score. He said Jags will beat the Bills. But we'll see. We shall see. I just told you the facts that Jags have beat them twice. They're the wounded animal. But, man, I like the way that line is playing for Bills. Plus, they got the extra time off their home. This is going to be a good game. Very good Monday night game. I can't wait. I haven't forgot, college fans. I have not forgot. Tennessee at Oklahoma. If that defensive line for Oklahoma plays over their head and gets to Nico and disrupts this team, they get their running game going. In other words, if they play the way this Oklahoma team plays the way they played last year against Texas, and I didn't think they had a shot to beat Texas. They end up beating Texas. That's the only win that Brett Venables had that's impressive. That's possible. But this Tennessee team, I do buy into a lot of what Kevin Carroll was saying. Maybe not. Maybe, but I also know Tennessee has struggled on the road in the past. They've had some big wins on the road. Hendon Hooker and LSU. Remember, they beat up on LSU on the road one time, but that came off of a bye week. This is an emotional game. Josh Heupel going back to where he played and won a national championship as a quarterback and where he was fired as an assistant under Bob Stoops. This is very personal. Game day will be here tomorrow. I'm recording game now. I cannot wait to see what the fellows on game day say about this game. And Nico, I do like the fact that this is Tennessee looks like a well-oiled machine. I was really impressed with the way they played NC State. This is a different caliber animal, but still that was in Charlotte. And Nico, very good play all night long. Only one interception, but they won 51-10. That being said, I think Tennessee will they will cover that 6.5 and then some. 34-16. I think they play really well tomorrow and get the win. Carlos says Tennessee in college. What did he say? I want to say that he said it was 34-27, but let me double check here. I don't want to misquote Carlos on this. I have to go up here and look at the big one here. He gave me a whole bunch of games that I'm not 34-27. That was correct. We both got Tennessee playing. What does Pickle say? NC upset second. Okay, Pickle says because it's a road game. It's a road game. And Tennessee has not played well on the road. He thinks that the Oklahoma will beat Tennessee, and that will take them down a notch. If they beat Tennessee, it really it lowers the expectations for the Alabama game later. It lowers the expectations. Now, that shouldn't for Florida. Florida's really bad this year. Then that'll be a home game, but it would really put a dent in all that hype coming up of the front line and whatnot. But we'll see. I think Tennessee will play well because I'm just not a Venables guy. But, hey, you never know. Tennessee teams play well at home, physical. Maybe Nico gets banged up. Anything can happen on the road. You're just not really sure of that, you know. But we'll see. Norman, Oklahoma, that game will – I wish it was on early. It's coming on at 6:30 Eastern, 7:30 Eastern, 6:30 Central Time. But anyways, folks, that is all I have tonight. Of course, we're right at 1 hour. I couldn't have timed this any better here. If you like the show, please share the show. Otherwise, I'll be back on Monday, same time, same place, here on the Real Sports Scope. Enjoy the games, everybody. Have a good night.